As a chef, I know flavor doesn't begin in the kitchen. It begins on the land. And Westhome's nature-led Australian Wagyu is a story written in the landscape of Northern Australia. Cooking is storytelling, and Westhome Wagyu carries a story of Northern Australia itself, raw, powerful, and deeply authentic. It's a testament to the passion and care raised in the rhythm of Northern Australia. I'm Chef Maylin from 88 Club in Los Angeles, and I invite you to visit westhome.com/Maylin to learn more and taste a story only Westhome nature-led Australian Wagyu can tell. That's westhome.com/MEILIN.
Hey, how are you? Ready to go for a run?
Running connects us to a rush of energy that flows through our world. The cheers of friends that unlock a new gear within us. The intersection of interests that inspires a run crew. The support that gets you over the finish line. Connection is why we move forward and what inspires us to keep going. Let's run there. Learn more at brooksrunning.com.
Next up, a laughing session from The Laughing Cow. Now, unpeel a wedge of the Laughing Cow light spreadable cheese, a delicious snack with 2 grams of protein and 25 calories per wedge.
This week on Sosbans and Sidesteps, we talk about Huw's poor positioning, Galway woes, Britain thundering into the playoffs, and of course, Scarlets against Zebre. Hello and welcome to this week's edition of the Sosbans and Sidesteps podcast. Joining me, Big M, as always, the one and only Mr. HG Rugby and new John. Good evening, my friends. How are we?
What happened to John Newez? I liked that one.
Oh. This isn't like your look at the 7 jerseys I bought this week. This can't be a routine opening section. I'm trying my best. This is brand recognition at this point.
Okay. This week, I'm speaking directly into the microphone because last week I leant back and I was barely audible. And I didn't realize until I listened to the podcast back. And I noticed also that at one point, new John tried to subtly tell me, get closer to the microphone, and I ignored him. So next time, new John, just tell me directly to get closer to the microphone.
Did you not notice the other part in the podcast where I did tell you directly to get closer to the microphone?
No, I did not.
I was wondering why I enjoyed last time so much. Oh, well.
Because I got tired, and when I got tired, I reclined. And then as I reclined, I got quieter and quieter.
And I got happy.
This is the audio equivalent of playing Johnny Williams for 80 minutes. The slowly but slowly getting tireder and falling to the back.
Okay, so let's actually get into the pod. I
have actually bought New Jersey since the last pod. Just want to throw that out.
Yeah. So, first item, show and tell. Well, what do we have to show and tell?
Well, firstly, she's not here, but I can speak for her. Me and Hattie both bought the Scarlet's road sign that was finally back in stock. Hooray! Benji told us, a Pringle in the chat told us it's back in stock, so we both immediately got it. It's quite funny because Hattie said, mine's here. I sent a picture. I was like, oh, where's mine? And then I went downstairs and it was literally the guy had shoved it through the letterbox. It was half sticking, like the door's like that, and it was sticking half through the door and half out the door. So I was like, oh, it's there. But that's not the only thing that I've bought. Excitingly, I have completed trilogy. I'm getting them now.
Okay, so we're filling time. The trilogy of what?
Well, before we get into that, first off, we can't see the sign.
You can't change the topic. You can't change the topic while he's off getting the jersey.
We're on the sign. He's mentioned the sign. He's doing something else. I know we mentioned it, but it's below the Toulon flag. It's just wrong. They got to swap positions. It's got to be done. It makes it better as well.
Can we vindicate Huw briefly by saying that as soon as you said that off call, Huw sent us a screenshot of a prediction he had made that as soon as you saw the sign, you would say it should be above the Toulon flag. I feel like that's only fair.
But it's a simple prediction to make. It's very, very obvious where the sign is meant to go, and it is not below a Toulon flag.
No, there you are. Anyway, this is the trilogy that I've completed. So you've already seen my Rhino chocolate
Chocolate,
quarters jersey. And then you've already seen my Rhino green jersey.
You got my
And
favorite
now-
jersey of all time.
Have the Rhino red jersey. So now I have all 3 Rhino jerseys from the one season that we were with Rhino.
That is my favorite home jersey, just for the wear on it. It just feels lush. Have you actually put it on yet?
No.
So you've had it long enough to put it on a hanger, get it ready, but you haven't put it on. Like,
Correct.
am I the only person that literally, when I get a piece of clothing, I will put it on straight away?
I'll wear it for a week.
Yeah,
Doesn't matter if it's underwear. I'll wear it for a week.
because I'm planning. I'm wearing this. I'm going to be at the Zebre game, and I'm going to wear the chocolate quarters one to the Zebre game. If I'm trying to, hey, if the Leinster media lady is watching this, reply to my email, please. If I get to go to Leinster, I will wear the green one, and then I need an occasion to wear the red one. I don't have one yet.
Well,
So there you go.
why
Anyway,
don't you just wear the red one to Leinster? Because I think you're being rather sneaky trying to wear the green one, thinking you'll blend in.
Maybe that was my plan all along. But interestingly, chocolate quarter red one, polyester, green one, 100% cotton.
Yeah, same as the red, isn't it?
No, red one's polyester.
Is it really?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know why you just don't go Lady Gaga on it and just wear all 3 to the Zebre game and just plan costume changes throughout.
That's a good idea, actually. I shall plan costume changes.
Lawrence Alter would. That's how you'll get her attention.
That's how I'll finally get her to like me.
Yeah.
I can't find the label on this one.
It doesn't have a label.
Oh, I do apologize. 20% polyester. Sorry, 20% polyester, 80% cotton is the green one. I think.
The facts we needed.
Anyway, so yes, trilogy complete. All of the Rhino jerseys. I'm now working on the. Did we decide it was 8-9? Year one?
It was something.
Cougar ones. That's the next trilogy. I've got a few favorited on Vinted. So watch this space. I know you're all on tenterhooks.
We are on the proverbial coat hangers that you hang all of your jerseys on behind you.
Mm-hmm.
The question is, how many can he hang up before it falls?
It's on the brink, lads. I'm not going to lie to you.
No. Well, we can see behind, because they got to go by there now. You need to have the trifecta up every week.
But if
the green doesn't go with the color scheme of the room.
You only put it up for 2 hours for the pod. You'll be fine.
the green doesn't go with the color scheme for the team. That's the reason we love the green jersey. You can take it down as soon as you're done recording this podcast and put up a different one for your next one. But for this one,
yeah, I mean, of the 75 podcasts you do every other day, for one of them, it's okay.
Guilty. But you've got a Castle New with
yeah, a Zudi. A Zudi, apparently it's called.
A Zudi.
So
a hoodie with a zip.
Yeah. Nice. It's comfy. Nice and oversized as I like them. Lovely badge, as you can see. Ooh.
VX3?
VX3, yeah. You can get it the color scheme the other way round. So red on the bottom and black by here. But not a fan of that. But yeah, buy from the club shop. Club gives a bit of money. I get a nice bit of merch. Needed a jacket as well. My Scarts one from Castor. Like, I love it. I still got it. But, all the lettering falls off. The zips on the pockets. Literally, the zippers came off in the first month. So, nice to have something with that seems to have a bit of quality to it. And it's really cool. As in, like, it doesn't overheat you, which is why I'm actually able to wear it in the house. And, I've just been lazy, to be honest. I've come in still wearing it. I just haven't took it off.
The VX3 stuff I quite like because it feels breathable, but slightly. It holds the heat all right as well. It reminds me of my favorite Scarlets jersey that I've got is the Birder one.
Ooh.
And that I feel like I can wear in -20 or +40 degrees. It doesn't matter. And the VX3 stuff feels a little bit similar to me. Not as nice as that, but like it's good all weather apparel. Yeah.
I haven't tried it out in the cold depths quite yet, but it's doing well so far. Doing well.
Yeah, you'll have the opportunity to.
So on to a bit of rugby. We somehow had a game this past week, and we were out in Galway. Only, what was it, like 6 months too late for the original.
Plane landed. There's positives. Progress.
Big positive. Can't go wrong with that. We got 23 players on the field. That's another.
Not at the same time, obviously.
Yeah, if we're including the sidelines on the warm up, yeah, that's good. Yeah, that's about it, isn't it? Joe Roberts is good.
Yeah.
Joe Roberts is quite good. Yeah.
Kaz touched the ball a lot.
Ewan Jones got a try. That was good.
Oh yeah,
good debut.
Oh, thanks to Joe Roberts. That was
yeah. It was a good finish. It took some finishing.
Yeah, beat a few men, cut back in. Nice little feet.
Max Page got some confidence.
Yeah,
I thought.
Yeah, gutted about the try that was ruled out for that, which is a little bit. I can't remember. Over on it. I've already forgotten.
Jack Davis.
Jack Davis, yeah. So, I think something to bring that is brought up from the selection for this game that needs to be discussed is our fullback issue, because when the squad is here, when all the boys off international duty are back, Blair has been out incumbent for about a year, maybe a bit longer now. We've seen Jack Davis have some really good performances in that jersey, and we put Jon Jones at 15 when we had Jack Davis in the same 15. So I'm not sure where we stand on who our fullback pecking order is.
I think that this is the start of the season's done. Let's just give the fringe players a game, honestly.
I mean,
I don't know about you, but 2 weeks ago I'd forgotten Jon Jones existed. Just being honest.
Okay, well, I can forgive you for that because he's been injured for the vast majority of the season. So you wouldn't have known he existed. He played 2 games, I want to say, for Quins, start of the season, got injured, came back for Quins about, I think, the week before the Edinburgh game. And then we saw him with Scarlets. So he hasn't been around, and when you're a new signing, especially an academy signing, it's quite easy to fall through the cracks of Huw's brain, I'm imagining.
Yeah.
But on the wider point, season done?
Yeah.
Yeah, it doesn't... season's done.
Yeah, like mathematically, still possible, but season's done. We're not doing it.
I was quite disappointed with the performance, to be honest. I'm not saying everybody played badly, but we got hammered by a distinctly average opposition. And I was chatting to some Connacht fans on socials, and they were like, "This is the easiest our pack has had it all season." I thought our forwards didn't turn up. I thought that some of the senior players didn't play like senior players. And generally, we left a few tries out there. It's the 3rd game in a row where one of our front rows has been held up over the line. It's a trend now. Please fix that problem. And just generally, they didn't have to work that hard for their tries, to be honest. So generally quite disappointed because there's 2 games in a row against teams in and around us. And yes, we have lost players to Wales, but we come on here every week and say that the talent in the team is good. So there you go. So
I think my biggest frustration is I honestly thought we were starting to move away from needing McLeod in the team to front up in the pack. And obviously he was there for Edinburgh. The result could have gone either way. But this game, there was just nothing there. And we are a 2-man team as it stands at the minute. As soon as we lose Costello, the back shape starts to go, and then we lose McLeod, everything else just drops off with it. Which, this isn't to put any, blame on, Cameron Leggett-Jones, who, he's a kid coming in at 10. You don't expect him to be able to play to international standards straight away. Even though you will see people going, "Oh, he done well for the 20s. Let's see what he does in the senior squad." But limit yourselves is all I'm going to say on that. But it is disappointing seeing the talent that we've got in the squad and knowing that we're not getting anywhere near the best out of it. And, we've had some more news this week in the coaching department. Did they say where he was going? Who?
No, they have not said where it's going. I think it's known that the rumours are he may be going back to Ireland somewhere.
Jared Payne, this is.
Yeah, Jared Payne.
Yeah.
Jared Payne, not Jarrod Payne. Jared Payne.
Sorry.
I'm
sorry, Jared Payne.
So I've heard that Shane Carney, he came in with Jared Payne and Albert Vandenberg same time. It isn't with us. He's already left apparently. Now we know Jared's going into the season. I wouldn't be surprised if Albert went the same way. It seems that they would have all had a similar length contract. So I'm putting 2 and 2 together by year. I might be coming up with 12, but so just bear with me on that.
I wouldn't like to lose Albert Vandenberg, though.
No, wouldn't like to lose him.
It's not so much who I don't want to lose. It's more like, who are we going to get? How are we? How's recruitment for coaches in this economy? That's what I'm more worried about. Is who we're going to get instead? Because we know we've been at least a coach down for over a year. We've seen the impacts that just having Nigel come in has made, and how suddenly it feels much more functional. And having an experienced guy with his hand on the tiller and stuff. So now if we're in the business of looking to recruit a defence coach and a strength and conditioning coach, and who knows what else, where are we going to get them from?
It's like you said, it's the entire environment around Welsh rugby at the minute that's would make it difficult to attract anyone. I'll be honest, even Welsh coaches, unless they're making a step up for the first time, why would you want to come back into this mess right now? I'm as long as there's a long-term plan, I'm as in by not next season, but the season after. I think we're gonna have to just make do with whatever we're given in the summer, which isn't great, obviously. But I'm really hoping management have got a long term plan of who's coming available, or who can we get, etc., and we actually have a decent team coming in a year summertime, because I don't think it's going to be this summer. I think it'd be a miracle, and massive plaudits to them if it does happen this summer. But I can't see it at the minute.
No, it feels like it's unlikely, and we know that even in club rugby that coaches generally tend to move in cycles. We're getting towards the end of a cycle now, of a World Cup cycle. It's not a great time to look to recruit anyone, especially if we're looking for like you suggest, Matt, like experience. Because while I've liked some of the coaching appointments we've brought in before, but when it comes to people like Dwayne or Jared Payne, when you're not bringing in coaches who are proven, who have that experience behind them, I feel like that's why it's taken us several years to seemingly get up to speed. And now obviously we've taken a step backward this season. But until we're able to actually recruit coaches who have experience, because
if for example, if we just promote Bradley Davis as defence coach and then find Scott Steddon a role in the main coaching ticket, that's kind of like that is making do and mending.
Yeah, like I was looking at this earlier, and I think we need to bring one person in as a minimum. Stephen.
We don't know what's happening with Nige yet.
No,
I feel like I'm getting the vibe that he's staying. That's just the vibe that I'm getting from how he's talking, but I don't know. I don't know that.
No, we don't know anything.
But he's a good communicator as well. He's not going to give anything away in what he's saying about whether or not he might be leaving or staying. Like, I feel like I would like him to stay. I feel, but yeah, I feel like you can't read too much into his statements at that point.
Yeah. I was looking at who is there that could possibly step out. Obviously, Bradley Davis is an assistant to an assistant, essentially right now. So that would be about Sneds is working transition and skills, so another bump. other people we've got in the system. Tom Phillips, is doing a decent job with the Quins forwards and our under 18s. Possibly for him, Ewan Cunningham is someone we might actually look back to. I thought, there's Richie Poe, who's with the under 18s. Di Flanagan, possibly. Stephen Jones is, now interim head coach in Newcastle.
We've missed that boat and got it. It's
I'll be
over.
honest. I don't know. I think if you're named interim head coach, you're generally not there the next season.
No, he's going to be there.
You think?
Yeah, but as head coach, I would have thought if they wanted
got
him as
plans for that guy.
I thought
they
Greg
wanted him
was
as head. Oh yeah, Greg is going to be head coach.
Yeah.
He's going to be Greg is going to be director of rugby. I think Stephen Jones will be head coach of
Then
the
why not
Newcastle
just-
project.
But just name him head coach then instead of naming
That
him
was the
interim.
plan, yeah.
If that's your plan.
Let's see what happens. Give him my prediction. I'm sticking with it.
This is our second week of being a Newcastle Red Bulls fan pod.
Well, they got one less dick in their coaching team now, so that's unfortunate, isn't it?
That didn't go out on the podcast, so that's
no?
very confusing to everyone.
Sorry, peoples.
Yeah, I made the observation last week when we finished recording that 2/3 of all senior coaches in Newcastle had a euphemism for penis in their name, and now it's down to half. Sad times.
Yeah.
Well, let's give it time. Has anyone heard of a town?
Richard Cockrell is looking for a job. I will say that he's available. So Dick Cockers is out there.
Nice.
So anyway, but back to Scarlets losing to Connacht.
Oh, really?
Yeah, we weren't very good. We left about 3 or 4 tries out there. We did play some nice stuff at times. I thought we played a bit too much in the middle of the field. I'm not blaming Kaz. I think probably Sammy says, "Oh, crowd or box kick it," a bit earlier. I think we played a bit too much. I thought that Archie Hughes made a great impact when he came on.
Yeah.
And it's now, I don't mind Archie Hughes being better than Gareth Davis, but I would like the gap to be smaller. I'd like Gareth Davis to be not a clear step less good than Archie Hughes at the moment.
Well, that's quite a big statement coming from where we started the season. And I don't think any of us are in disagreement. And it's not even a case of Gareth has shot down massively. I just think he's off form a bit, and Archie is, he's spread his wings. That's all he's done.
The Falcon has taken flight.
Yeah,
he really has.
I don't know if anybody in the pack played well, to be honest.
I thought Jared Taylor played well.
I felt like there was no clarity at ruck time. If you look at the stats, particularly for last season, Josh McLeod is the Scarlets ruck. if there's a ruck in Llanelli and Josh McLeod isn't at it, it wasn't a ruck. It never happened. And I felt like with him not there wasn't clarity about who was doing what. And we saw Fletcher Anderson going into rucks a lot. And I was like, hey, I don't want you rucking. I want you stood, a first receiver, ready to make post-contact meters. What did you think of Fletch being made captain, especially with Johnny Williams and Gareth Davis both in the team?
I believe I said to both of you when the team was named, and I've had similar discussions with other people, you don't name somebody captain, especially someone who's only signed for a few months, who's going to be out the door in a few months' time. Unless they're using that as maybe an incentive to keep him, I can't see why you would possibly do that to someone who inevitably might only be with the club 8 months out of the entire career.
It must be an incentive, I would imagine, because if he'd already signed something, or if we already thought it was there, that it would have been out by now. You would have assumed, unless it's literally just, oh, you're going to leave us at the end of the season, but haven't you been fantastic? Here's an armband. Here's an armband for the away trip to Connacht. Doesn't seem logical. So, I would assume that negotiations are ongoing, and this is a carrot.
I'd like to think this is part reward rather than carrot. And I think it's been signed. It's just waiting, because we know these deals get signed, and then we are literally waiting months to hear anything. Because obviously we have our Tuesday specials that run more or less every week from late April, May till the end of the season, or whatever it is. We seem to do something like that every year. Apart from I think Blair earlier this season, was it? Or last season, where
Last
it was
season.
randomly early. We tend to do all our announcing at the back end of the season, regardless of when the actual deals are
Oh, they
signed.
made us wait for months for Sam Costello, didn't they? They really, really let that one go on for a long time. But yeah, so I thought that was interesting, that appointment anyway, that they made that decision. Which I think Joe Roberts was our best player on the night. Did you say? Shall we look at his try?
Yeah, let's look at his try.
Please.
It's actually quite funny because I was speaking to someone on Thursday night about Joe, and they were saying they were worried he might have lost a step of pace since
Nice from
his
Max.
last.
Yeah,
Lost a
you
step
can't
of
forget the
pace
chip and
massively.
chase.
Yeah, Johnny Williams does what he does best, passes the ball to Joe Roberts, and Joe Roberts scores. He's got good pace, and he set up Johan Jones's one as well. What is going on with Joe with his hair and his 5 o'clock shadow at the moment? Is he okay? What's going on?
He's becoming a man. He's 25 now. He's he's probably finally moved out. His mum's not controlling him anymore. He doesn't have to get his two on the back and sides. He can do what he wants, and he wants to look like a man.
So you're saying no one's buying him his razor blades anymore?
Basically, yeah.
Yeah. Shame about the HIA.
Yeah.
Oh, did he come back on?
Well,
Did not, no?
according to Robbie Pass, he didn't, but I swear he did. So Robbie Pass has been wrong a lot lately, so probably go with that.
So Huw swears. We get that.
Yeah. Am I unfair on Johnny Williams? I feel like I'm bashing him every week, and I don't mean to. And I was thinking about this earlier, and I feel like if Gabe McDonald played like that, I'd be like, awesome. And even if Max Page played like that, I'd be like, solid, decent. I can't get over in my head that Johnny Williams is supposed to be an international level centre. And so I expect him to be in our top 3 best players every week.
Well, you just hit the nail on the head right there. There's a standard, and obviously Johnny has set himself a standard, and if he doesn't hit it, which, even being generous, he hasn't hit it that much this season. You're gonna think he's underperformed because he can play that much better. It's like the same reflects on Max and Gabe. We haven't seen Gabe at all really, and we haven't seen Max consistently smash 8, 9, 10 out of 10 performances, consecutively. So you're happy with your 6s and your 7s.
I mean, if I was going to say anything in his defense, I would say that you could tell that Carwyn, Leggett, Jones, and him do not have much of a connection yet. And like that'll come in time, but I felt like there was disconnect between them on the pitch. And that's just literally because they haven't really played a great deal together. But that's me trying to search for an excuse for Johnny Williams as well. Like I do feel he's below par. I do think he's been off form for a long time. And coming next week, like I feel like there's a conversation to be had about who starts at 12 and who starts at 13, and I don't think he's really in that conversation.
Well, this is it, and it kind of comes onto Joe Roberts as well, because I feel like Joe Roberts is too good to be the 3rd best centre at a Welsh region. That's kind of what he is at the moment, isn't he?
Look, I mean, I do still think he's our best 13. I don't think Eddie is far off now. The way he's developed defensively at 13, considering he has done it on the international stage, is quite scary how fast he has adapted and adjusted to it. So, Eddie is the first name on the team sheet. Him and Costello. Just simple as. It's just one number you put on Eddie's back. That dictates everything.
JH12 is just a fact of life now, I think. I'll be shocked if we don't go with the Wales centres. as our centres. It would be madness if we didn't on every level. But it's like, but then you go back to Johnny Williams' position. Is Johnny Williams the fourth best centre at the Scarlets? Again, that feels like it for a player of his seniority. That just feels unnecessary.
And
I mean,
you could talk about him being the fourth best. I feel like that takes out. You can say that at the moment, yeah, but I feel like that slightly ignores things like Max Page's potential, and I feel like I would rather have Max on the bench than also because he covers more positions, but like Johnny is coming towards the end of his career now, and I compared to Max. And I just don't think like yeah, because what's Johnny is like 29. Like I just don't see a reason why we wouldn't. I don't see many reasons to start him or put him on the bench over Gabe or Max. I think now.
I mean, certainly for the rest of this season, there's I unless we're given, well, even then, even if we decided to give, Joe and Eddie the week off, you're starting to think of, well, we want to look to the future. That this is something we missed a couple of seasons ago when the season was done around about this time, and we just kept putting out our strongest 23. It completely messed us up. We could have been in a position where we had 4 or 5 extra senior academy boys who was integrating into this first team. We could have got them 5-6 games more experienced, which is something I think we do desperately need to do now. And I don't think we give if we are going to rest Eddie and Joe, I think we only do one at a time. I don't think we give them both a week off together.
I think they will.
I don't know. I'm thinking Eddie and Joe for Zebre because we know it works, and then we go.
You mean you can't just say Joe? That's too confusing. You mean
Ed
you
and
mean
Joe
you want
Roberts.
Eddie at 12 and Joe Roberts at 13?
No, I think it would be Hawkins because Hawkins has only played 4 games. Eddie's played 5.
They both need a rest. They're just coming off the Six Nations.
I think
There's
they'll
only been
rest
one.
both. I think they'll go Johnny and
Well,
Roberts.
actually, we got 2 weeks off with the Europeans in a fort. Well, after the 27th, we're not in action again until the 18th of April. So that's a big ass gap. That's 3 weeks without the game. So, I think scrap that rest idea. I don't think they're going to need it because they've just had a week off not so long ago as well. They've only played 2 weeks on the bounce. Bearing in mind it is international. It's a tricky position.
But it's a bigger question, more than just like who plays the next game. The bigger question is for those players as well, because like I said, Joe Roberts is too good to just be the third guy, the third wheel.
There is a way to rotate to give all these boys, the game time they need and deserve, the starts, that they have for the season. And I don't think it's an infallible position where 2 Joes and Eddie end up with Wales in the summer. Because, Joe Roberts keeps up the performances he has. Like, I was surprised. I know he was injured in January, but I was surprised he wasn't at least looked at for this campaign, being as though, before the Eddie getting established as a 13, there was no real 13 option in that Wales squad.
I can see us having some games with Eddie at 12 again and Joe at 13. But what I'm curious about that is then are those games where you're starting Carwyn, Leggett, Jones at 10? And if you are starting him at 10, who is more useful to have at 12 for him? Do you want
Eddie.
a more hard carrying version like Eddie to take that stress off him? Or do you want Hawkins, who we know, okay, maybe not in a Scarlets jersey, but we've seen him now in a Wales jersey, take on some of that more decision making in attack to like give him a bit more.
I'm
relief.
actually quite excited to see Kaz and Joe H play together.
Really?
Now,
I'll be honest. looking at how Carwin plays as a 10, I don't think he wants a second playmaker. I think that would take away from him. He is very, very similar to Sammy in the fact that he wants to control, he wants to dictate. This is his.
Sammy can play with the second playmaker.
He can, but Sammy's obviously 7 years older and a lot more experienced. I do still think we have to remember the fact that this is a kid. This is someone who's in year 13 in school. They're still going to be very selfish in how they want to play. Even if you're fighting against that.
But in some of that Connacht game, I felt like Johnny Williams was designated as a second playmaker. He did call some plays. He did. I had a little giggle to myself. It was about the 70th minute, 71st minute. He runs the absolutely slowest, whether Sexton loop or Leinster loop or whatever you want to call it. And that used to be run by Johnny Sexton, so it was slow. But when Johnny Williams runs it, I was watching the game back at like double speed, and it looked like he was moving normally compared to everyone else around him.
So do we just call it the Johnny loop now?
Oh, I don't want to call it that. That sounds like something else. but no, what I would say is like I think whether or not he wants to is one thing or another, but our attack generally works with more than one playmaker in the backfield. And I feel like, yes, it could take some stress off him. But I do see your point that maybe he wouldn't like having that authority taken away. And yes, there is something to be said for giving him the opportunity to run the entire show by himself with Archie supporting him in that. But for my money, I would rather him have a playmaker outside him. Not because I think he needs the support on it necessarily. I think it takes some stress off him, and it also puts him in a more accurate situation that he will be in next season when he's coming off the bench regularly, hopefully, and that's who he's got outside him.
Yeah. I mean, we've kind of segued into it anyway now. So, Scarlets for Wales. What was it, 5 players this last week? Is that how many were in for the Italy win? Elias.
Yeah, Elias.
Midfield.
Yeah, Ellis and Blair on the bench.
So for the... Oh, no, he's back. I thought he was going somewhere then. Never mind. So, obviously, Blair and Elias on the bench.
Mm-hmm.
How do you think?
Elias is re-established. Like, he's behind Dewi Lake, who's Wales captain, but he's re-established himself as the 23 player. Yeah. We've moved on from the Liam Belcher days,
thankfully.
And he's also, I'm not saying he's responsible for it, but like having some competition in that hooker shirt, I think has been really good for Lake, and having someone who's actually pushing him potentially is much more beneficial than when Belcher was there.
Yeah, like for my money, I think if Jack Morgan was fit and he was captain, I think we would have probably seen Elias start the France game. Just not
this
that
game potentially, yeah,
maybe, yeah.
Because obviously, when you have that competition, it's great. But when you've also got that captain's armband on you, you're not untouchable, but it's going to take one hell of a shocking performance to move you out to that number 2 jersey. But yeah, Elias has really found himself again this season. I think he was going through the motions for about 2-3 years. Like, just didn't seem himself. And this season with us, since he had an injury niggle early on, and he's been absolutely outstanding, and he's carried that on in a Wales jersey. He's been absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, 100%. It's been good to see.
Which is good because it seems like we are... Wait a second, that's a question. Sorry, I know we were on to Wales chat, but now I'm trying to rack my brains because I can't remember. Harry Thomas actually came on.
Yes, he did.
He did.
I felt like I hallucinated that. I was watching that on a train with very little sleep. But yeah, he did actually come on. So we're genuinely looking at a situation where we're happy with Elias starting next season and Harry Thomas hopefully on the bench.
Yeah, I do feel that. Well, not feel. We know we need at least another hooker.
Yeah, we do.
And depending on how we see Harry Thomas and obviously Isaac Young, who's there as well, depending on how we see their development, Isaac really needs an injury-free run. If I'm toiling on since the South African hammering we had at the start of the season down there a few years back. He's been injured like 90% of the time. It's ridiculous. Depending on where we see these boys and their development, do they need more SRC time? Do they, are they okay being reserve? I think something we've seen with Sam O'Connor this season is where he didn't play anywhere and last season for such long periods of time. It's not that he's regressed, but he hasn't improved. And then you've got the guys coming up behind him have actually overtaken. So, my only worry with Harry is the fact that he hasn't played a lot of rugby this season. He's gone from starting for Drovers and obviously Drovers 23 every single week outside of under 20s duty, and he's barely picked up a ball this year. So it's all about your development, and quite frankly, if you don't already know this, and slap on the wrist, but you don't get better if you don't play.
Apologies for taking us off of talking about the Wales players, but that just popped into my head when we were talking about Elias.
Well, we are talking about a hooker that 12 months ago was seen as someone who had the potential to play for Wales pretty soon. And now we're in New Year. There's another under-20s hooker people are talking about playing for Wales pretty soon. So I'm pretty sure we'll go through it all again in 12 or 24 months' time, whatever it is. But back to Wales. Do we cover off Blair Murray on the bench and then go for the starters?
I remember Blair Murray trying to get on a couple of times and not coming on. So I don't really much remember about him, to be honest. I think the big news for the Scarlets this whole Six Nations has been the centres. And we are now in possession of the Wales starting 12-13, which I think does dictate our selection moving forwards. And it's working. I thought, like you said, Mark, the development of EJ13 has been terrifyingly fast. And I thought that Joe Hawkins had his best game for Wales against Italy. He really stood up in that first receiver. He mixed up his game, kick, pass, run. He made a lot of decisions. He was calling a lot of the attacks. He was helping out the fly half who needed help. And yeah, it's now looking like the centres are no longer a discussion point for Wales. Put it that way.
I think Joe Hawkins has finally found himself since coming back to Wales. Obviously, he knew who he was, with the Ospreys, with Wales under 20s. I think he completely lost himself at Exeter for, obvious reasons. I think we've got maybe an 80% 12 and a 20% 10 in Joe Hawkins in the way that he's distributed, in the way that he's playing. You made up a nice little highlight reel for us in our WhatsApp group of all of Hawkins, and the amount of times he is at first receiver or he is the first back outside of the scrum half to touch the ball, is quite a lot. So I do think he's found his role, and it's whether or not our game plan is going to be similar to Wales going forward. We have generally preferred a harder 12, and I'm not saying that Joe can't carry, because that boy can truck him up like the best, but Eddie is a different animal. Johnny on form is a different animal. And I know we just talked about Johnny being more 6 out of 10 than where he has been in the past, but I think that centre chat goes a lot deeper for us. Obviously, we wouldn't do an hour, as we'll never get off air. But off air, sound important, no? Yeah, I don't think it's a foregone conclusion that the Wales 12-13 is the Scarlets 12-13 for our big games.
I think
it is.
I think practically speaking, it is. I think Joe Roberts gives you he doesn't really play on the wing very often, does he? What's he had like? Less.
He's had one Scarlets start at the wing. You think he's played more on the wing for Wales than he has for the Scarlets?
I think he's only had one. I think he's had one each, hasn't he? In theory, you can get him to cover more spaces on more positions if you put him
game
on
at
the
12
bench.
as well at Edinburgh. Scored a try.
It's complete. I think he's the more one of those three players has to be on the bench. We're probably still not close to running like a 6-2, right? So I assume that one of them is on the bench. Hawkins giving you the 10 cover, yeah, fair enough. But I think the realistic option is Roberts on the bench for us. But I'll echo what Huw said as well about Joe Hawkins, is that I think that was his best game in a Wales shirt. It's probably his best game in any red shirt that we've seen so far. And I think Mazzy's getting a little bit more confidence back, because obviously his confidence was shot over the Christmas period. I'm just hoping that we see him go from strength to strength from here now and see the player that we imagined when we signed him last year or over the summer. And what I'm looking forward to is seeing. I'm really optimistic. I hope that we stick with Carwyn Leggett-Jones for the rest of this season. I would love to see Sammy coming off the bench. I would love to see CLJ getting actual minutes of game time. And I would really like to see how Joe develops with just inside Carwyn there.
Interesting. Okay. Anything else before we flip on?
No. Ellis Mees the one we haven't spoken about.
Yeah, but Ellis is just awesome.
Didn't get much in attack. Didn't get many runs. The stats actually say that he did more than it felt like when I was watching him play. I think defensively was where he stood out against Italy, which was name checked by the comms as well. It's still not amazing in the air. He still needs to work on that. But yeah, nailed down that Wales starting spot. He's just such an intelligent player. It's always stood out about him how intelligent he is, and that shows. And he's a player that other fans remark on a lot. That I hear fans of other teams go, "Ooh, at least me's good." So, yeah,
Ellis Me, very good. Is that traditional left wing v right wing? Generally left wing is more attack based and your right more defensive, and that is a massively strong area for Ellis. The way he reads the defensive line. Like, I'm not advocating for him to play 13. Like, I'm not, but I do think he's someone who would be capable of doing that. That's just the level of his defense, that intelligence, that ability to read, and his tackling is very, very good. He goes low a lot, and for someone who's 6'4", that's an achievement and a half. I mean, aerially, he's been a pro a little bit over 18 months, so he's come from a semi-pro background, which, let's be honest, is paid amateurs. That's what semi-pro generally means. I know you train the exact same amount as an amateur. So he's still very young, he's still very raw, but what we see, like you said, his rugby IQ is well up there. And if you want to see him scoring tries, either stick him on the left wing or use him in a lot of starter plays, like we have done last season. Brilliant off the back of a line out.
Yeah, or give him a center next to him who'll kick down the line after taking two passes, and then he'll chase after. Like, was it after Northampton, in the Northampton game, we saw him do that a couple of times, or was that him showing and going? I can't remember. But he had some really good runs against Northampton in that right wing position.
Yeah. I do think he is slightly he is underutilized in the Welsh attack. But obviously
we haven't really seen any starter plays from Wales, to be honest. Whenever they've gotten down into the 22, it's all been kept in the forwards. So you've seen the tap and goes and stuff. So we haven't really gone to the backs on attack.
A good point.
Maybe that's got something to do with the fly half situation, but
well, no, because you can't say that, because it did go to the backs in the 22, and it was scored by the fly half. Who for some reason wasn't in the first receiver position. But those two things, there's no logic to those 2 points of data at all. All we know is that normally Wales don't pass to the backs inside the 22, and then when the 10 wasn't in the first receiver position, for some reason it got passed to the backs. So look, just ignore that.
Just make of it what you will. Okay, let's pass on to the next item. Bristol Thunder.
Yay!
Well, hey.
Can I just shout out Scarlet Socials for really pushing Bristol Thunder and Rob Lloyd doing a match report for them as well after the derby. Really showing that they are Scarlet's women in all but name. And there seem to be, four Celtic Challenge levels. I'm not saying there's thousands of people there, but there seem to be a few people there for the derby. And I think the headline is four or 5 wins in a row. 5 wins in a row.
5 now.
And 4 tries conceded in those 5 games of rugby. Nilled our local rivals. Doesn't matter how many we scored, we nilled them. And turned the season right around. Got some good players in. Got some PWR players in. Courtney Keats, obviously being a big one that made a big difference. I still think that Seren Lockwood is our player of the season, in my opinion. And just really happy to see the girls get in. It's a shame not to get third in the table, but it doesn't matter. It just means we'll have to go to Ireland and beat the Wolfhounds again.
Yeah. And do you have to point out this is the first time we've won a Welsh derby? No, we've lost all other 5 games to Gwalia.
No. We beat them in the season we had Alcal. We thrashed them at the park. Yeah, you remember that's Sean Harris kicked the drop goal.
I'm just looking, but I was just looking at the video. Unless I've written it bloody wrong. So
Second game ever we played against each other, we won. I remember it vividly.
So, first game we lost 25. Sorry, guys. We won 30 points to 5 the last game of the season. So the first ever meeting at Parc y Scarlets, the Sunday, the 3rd of March. I want to say that was 2 years ago. So yeah, my bad.
I have never won at the park. I'm claiming until someone tells me I'm wrong.
Oh, I'm gonna have to look now. I'm really sorry.
But we've also nilled our opposition in 2 of our last 3 games. Oh, we have lost at the park. Never mind.
Yeah, but it was over Christmas, so that doesn't count. They were, they had full bellies, so the park does a great Christmas dinner, so it's
anyway. So yeah, the game itself against Gwalia, I think, tightly contested. We left a lot of tries out there in the first half. I think it's fair to say should have been about 28-0 up at half time, but got the job done in the end.
Got the job done in the end. That's all that matters. So, are we ready?
I'm strapped in.
Just
strapped
about.
in.
Yeah.
Do I click the button?
I'm ready for the great roller coaster that is my Monday evening every week.
Okay, well, it's not going to be as much of a roller coaster because blah blah. It's 6 nations. We don't get as many games. So here we go. And that looks awfully small. Ooh, pardon me. Shall I make it a bit smaller? Why am I so high up? Meh, that'll do. Okay, starting the SRC now because obviously the Cup malarkey is all done and dusted. Break week this past weekend, so nothing. So this coming week, we've got Thursday night lights at Carmarthen Park, where 6th place Carmarthen Quins take on 5th place and reigning plate champions Swansea RFC. Context of the SRC, this is a huge game. There's very, very little between 3rd and 6th. Finishing top 4 is absolutely massive. This is a game that needs to be won. Quinn's got a lot of injuries. Obviously, Scarlet's Senior Academy, who, obviously contribute a fair bit to Quinn's, have a lot of injuries to the point we're playing 18-year-old loose heads. So it's a big one. And, SPED Rec, YouTube, wherever you watch it, even if you can get onto Carmarthen, that'd be even better. Watch this game, Thursday night, 7:30. On to Saturday, Llandudno are travelling to the Brewery Field where they will play Bridgend. Oof. Good game, I'll be. Okay, into the Premiership, the last set of results we had, Shettley Wanderers winning 44-36 away to Bargoed, Llangennech 34-33 winners at home to Cardiff Met, and so close to a clean sweep, but Narberth narrowly missed out 19-22 at home to Merthyr. Cracking result, that is. Saturday, Shettley Wanderers are at home to Pontypridd, Llangennech travel to Merthyr, and Narberth travel to Astrid Rhondda. Tough set of fixtures for those top two, but there. Championship West, it's been a nice little break for Newcastle Emlyn. They've had a couple of wins, and their last one was away to Gowerton, 21-16. Crymych, after winning their first game and then drawing another one, went down 35-7 away to Dunvant. This week, we've got Aberystwyth at home to Gleneach, Ammanford at home to Gowerton, and a bit of a derby in Crymych against Newcastle Emlyn. Over in One West, last fixtures, Tenby winning 45-7 away to Lampeter, and 1 12, Swansea Uplands 33. So a one game midweek now to talk about. We've got Hendy against Lampeter, which is on Wednesday. And then straight fast forward to Saturday, we got Barryport against Larne, Kidwelly travelling to Lampeter, St Clair's hosting 1 Hendy travelling to Swansea Upland, and Tenby hosting Vellinvole. To West, there's been a few fixtures, and I had to keep this up because producer Lee did put it in the group, but he didn't realise that Aberdeen had an even bigger win the week before, so I'll call it out anyway. So to West, Carmarthen Athletic 101-12 at home against Whitland. Pringles Bont 124-18 at home to Pencloud, and then I want to say this past weekend we had to Croyce 21-0 winners at home to Pencloud. On Saturday we will see Aberaeron at home to Whitland, Carmarthen Athletic at home to Pontarddulais, to Croyce travelling to Lucca, Nancaredig home to Betos, and Fishguard travelling to Pencloud. We got to West Central. Brennaman's last game was a 26-11 win away to Porthcawl. They will travel to South Gower this Saturday. 3 West, few fixtures by you to get through. So Halford West 38-17 winners against Neyland. Llandilo 73-14 winners at home against Cardigan. Tumble 40 points to 28 winners at home against Trimsaran. And Milford winning a very, very dogged affair, 17-8 away to Narberth Athletic. Saturday's fixtures, Am United against Cardigan. Llandilo travelling to Narberth Athletic. Huw's New Dock Stars at home to Milford Haven. Trimsaran hosting Halford West. And Neyland travelling to Tumble. For West A, we got Pembroke 17, Tyru Crymych 24. At least one part of Crymych is winning. Tenby Athletic 17, Llangwm 0. Friday night game, we got Newcastle and Draghi at home to Tyru Crymych. Saturday's fixtures, Pembroke Dock Harlequin at home to Tenby Athletic. Llanabudder travelling to champions-elect Pontyberem, and St David's at home to Pembroke. For West B, Llangadog 12, Llandibby 3. Saturday's games, Fallbay at home to Pontiates, Furnace travel to Pantyfan, and Pennybank at home to Binya. Kev Nathan travelling to Tregaron. Over in the women's game, the last result we have was Barryport 44, Carnarvon 26. No other fixtures showing on All Wales Sport at the minute, but there are games to be played, so expect that to change. Down in the Championship, Halford West winning 41-19 at home to Whitland. Sunday's games, we got Halford West travelling to Sengenic and Whitland at home to Anisabul. West Wales League, just the fixtures again on the Sunday. Newcastle Emlyn travelling to Morriston, Tumble at home to Pembroke. You can see our little youth section below. Just the one semi-final going ahead this weekend that I'm aware of. There might be more. So we got Am United away to Bargoed in the semi-finals of the Cup. And just a shout out, there were 2 Am United boys playing for Wales 18s this past Saturday. And that brings the community to a halt. All done and dusted, boys. How are we feeling after that roller coaster?
Windswept.
As you can see, incredibly windswept.
So quite obviously, Pringle is Pontarddulais. Huw, obviously, he sponsors New Dock Stars. That's why they're Huw's New Dock Stars. You know, I'm wearing Emlyn, merch by here. I got Carmarthen gear as well. Is new John Newydd, is he Kidwelly, or does his heart lie somewhere else?
No, my heart lies with Kidwelly. Haven't you noticed that it doesn't matter when you mention Kidwelly, I silently to myself go, yeah. But when you mention Trimsaran, Barryport, I audibly boo. I think that should give you a better idea of who I'm on the side of.
Yeah, that makes a lot more sense.
And if you're
But
from Buryport or Trimsaran, I'm not taking it too seriously.
he's taking it very, very seriously. You should hear the way he talks off air. I was just doing this for confirmation.
It's not their fault that that's where they're from. It's just how it is.
Like I'm not from Buryport, but my kids kind of went to Pembrey, so
Pembrey's different.
yeah. But the train station is called Buryport and Pembrey, or at least supposedly. So is it mixed? I don't know.
I've taken enough flack from you from being from Kidwelly that you can take a little bit of flack from me that your kids might have spent some time in a place where the train station shares its name with Buryport.
Tell you what, my eldest did go to. Oh my god, I've forgotten the name of it. Oh, the shit high school in the middle of Buryport.
Glanamore.
That's the one, Glanamore. She went to that shit all, and yeah, no, not great. So you can give me a lot of flack for that. A lot of flack. Okay, back to Huw's neatly posted agenda. We have a Zebre preview to get through as we've hit the hour mark. Like, share, subscribe, do your thing. Oof, season's over, boys. Are we just going for kids, or are we still mixing it up? What do we want to see?
I don't know. I wonder if Costello's fit. I would like to see him play because he just hasn't played that much, and I love him. And I like to see Tommy Rog get a game. He hasn't played. I'd like to see Josh McLeod get a game because he hasn't played that much. Blair Murray probably as well. That's kind of it. And I'd like to see the senior players who didn't perform against Connacht stand up.
I've already earlier nailed my colours to the mast. I would rather. I think season's gone. So this, from my money, needs to be an extended preseason.
Yeah.
For us now. I want to see us planning for not what does our 15 look like next season, but what does our 23 look like? What does our extended squad look like? For me, I would rather, even if it's going to be a bit of a baptism of fire, I would start Harry Thomas. In this situation, I would start Carwyn Leggett-Jones. I would start Archie. And then I think elsewhere around the park, I'm looking at strength, just so that they're not lambs to the slaughter. But those are the positions for me that we really need to work on bringing through our younger talent. Like Archie is comfortably now, I think, in the eyes of the coaching staff, still second choice. So, which means I think he got. Well, I'm not. I know Huw. You want to say that he should be first choice, and I agree with you. But I still think he's second choice to our coaching staff.
Like I kind of emotively responded to the Connacht loss and nailed my colour, so to speak. So there's a few boys I think that need integrating now. Of whether or not they're ready for next season, obviously, is a different question. You know, some of them are quite young, I would admit, and I know some of these boys are injured. But obviously, Josh Morse, he's one that needs to be. I'd start him every game now. You know, it's not official, but we all kind of know Alec Hepburn is off. Which, unless we're bringing in someone very, very good at loose head, that does mean Josh Morse will be our second choice. He needs a minute. He needs experience. That boy's got a high ceiling. And like you said, Harry Thomas. No, I mentioned Isaac Young earlier. If he's back fit, you know, one of them has to be in the 23 at a minimum and getting game proper minutes. I'd like to see Gabe Hawley starting. You know, probably him and Harry O'Connor, Archer Holtz. As brilliant as he's been when he's been on the pitch, he's not been on the pitch a lot. And obviously Henry's not getting any younger. So, you know, planning for the future there. Will Evans is one, but he's injured at the minute. The second he's fit, and I'm hoping he's fit back end, we need to start getting him in ready. Because again, ball and lousy, you can't be relying on 34-year-old locks to go on year after year. Back row, we got quite a bit of depth in terms of our youngsters. We got Ocean Williams, who almost made his debut against Connacht at the start of the season before the game was postponed. Tian Sparrow, who obviously he was ill. He lost a year or so of his, early career, so probably have him. And Dom Kossuth, obviously New John's Dom Kossuth.
Kidwelly's Dom Kossuth.
He's a physical beast, and he put in some cracking performances in that under-20s. And quite frankly, we could do with having a second 8. So let's give him, obviously, Karen Legger-Jones you mentioned, and obviously the two boys are kind of fighting over the 15 shirt. I think it was Owen Jones and Jack Davis. I think those are boys that haven't been a regular part of our 23. We need to get them in position where they can slot into that, not an issue whatsoever. Jack Davis probably the closest of the lot, along with Josh Morse. But all of them need to be genuine options for next season, not just names to fill out training or to have as reserve. If something happens, we need to be able to call on them. They need to be able to step into a match day squad and actually do the business.
Yes,
I agree with what you're saying about Jack Davis and Owen Jones. I would like to see a situation where we could see them slotting in and out. I liked seeing Jack Davis taking on a more active role in attack in that Connacht game, and I'd like to see him do that a little bit more often, a bit more Blair Murray-ish, which I wasn't expecting to see from him, which was nice. I think I would rather see Jack Davis at fullback for this game in particular. Not that Johan hasn't done enough to show it, but I'm with you. I want to give people starts. I really want to give young boys starts now, but I don't see the value in giving too many players starts at the same time. What I want to see is rotation of players starting, and it doesn't have to be like a regular season game or a regular game now where you might see one player in the 15 and maybe another 2 on the bench. Like, we can go with 3, 4, max, for my money, 5 development players.
You want to play max at 5? That's bold.
That's what I just think he could do it. I think he could do a job.
I think he's got
Max
the enthusiasm
Page.
for it.
He's got enthusiasm. He's got the confidence. We'll move him into 5. We'll move Max Douglas in at 13 instead. Yeah.
The opposition won't be expecting it. We'll give you that much.
No, definitely not. Definitely not. Neither will Joe Hawkins every time he tries to pass, and Douglas is 5 meters behind him. I think we just need to make sure that we're managing that. And for me, the most important player who I would count in that is Carwyn Legger-Jones. And so I would want to see him start. I want him to have first choice centres outside him. Because you just need to set him up for success. There's no point giving him minutes if you're giving him inexperience around him in the back line. So I think more forwards with Carwyn Legger-Jones in there. As in more developmental forwards, more academy forwards, and then Carwyn Legger-Jones in the backs.
Yeah, I mean, there is going to be a balance to it. Obviously, we can't just put every single one of them to start, because that's just, well, 1, some of them are injured, and 2, it's just, you're asking for trouble. So yeah, there's amount. So should we go for a 15? What we would ideally like to see? Yes, no, maybe.
I'd probably go Chems, Elias, because he's only coming off the bench.
Harry.
Yeah, Hesitate. Then it's not much really point choosing the second row.
You had 2 Harrys to choose from that Mark wanted you to take, and you went for the third option.
Right. Sorry. I would probably go in the back row, bring back in Josh. I don't really care who plays 6. And then Fletch, obviously, at 8. And then Archie, Sammy, if he's fit. Then I think they'll rest the centres. So Johnny and Joe are. And then
Joe are? I like that.
And then in the back line, I'd like to see Tommy, Blair, and
Jack.
Yeah, Jack.
So
I mean,
Blair on the wing,
oh, Levin.
or Blair at fullback.
Blair Levin.
There you go.
You don't get a choice. Blair's not winning 15 unless you've got like 1,000 injuries again. But that's my preference, obviously.
So you're saying now that you view Jack Davis as our first choice 15?
No, I prefer Ellis Mead to be developed as our first choice 15. But in terms of this season, right now for this game, I think Ellis Mead deserves maybe a little break if he's not going to be included. And I'd put Jack Davis in there if Mead's not an option.
Who for you then, Huw, is the first choice back three now? Because if we're saying that Blair Murray is on the wing, like, because I would see a world, I would rather start as wings, Tommy Rodge and Ellis Me, and then if you're resting me this week, that's another conversation. But in terms of like first choice back three, I really like Jack Davis, but I would still be tempted to put Blair Murray in ahead of him.
I think that our first choice back three, based on how they've been playing this season, is Ellis Me, Tommy Rodge, and Jack Davis.
See, to be
That's
fair,
not
when you
reality,
say
though.
this season, and Blair coming back from injury, I wouldn't be upset with starting Jack Davis. I still think Blair is the better player overall.
Yeah, it's harsh, and we're stacked with talent there. We've always said that we've got in the backs. We're absolutely our players are tripping over each other. So,
Yeah.
But Blair's had a good rest for the last few months, so maybe he's okay to come back now. I don't know.
Yeah, get him back on the left wing where he started making a name for himself at the start.
well, he didn't really get many touches in his first games on the left wing, if you remember. It wasn't.
He
It
scored
wasn't really
loads
until
of
he moved
he
to
scored
fullback that he started.
loads of tries and mistries. I mean, remember our Carwin's counter? I mean, he scored like 20 odd tries that season.
Yeah, according to old Carwin, he scored 20 tries in his first 10 games.
He did. He done really, really well. No, in terms of the actual pecking order, I don't think our back three has changed. Like the three, it's just the configuration. I do think Blair overall is a better player than Jack Davis, but I think Jack Davis is a better 15.
I think that's a really fair way of putting it. Yeah, I would, if I was going up against, who's a team where I want a really stable 15 in particular, where I don't want attacking Flair behind, like
Glasgow.
Connacht would have been a good one. Connacht or Glasgow. Yeah, Glasgow's a good shout actually. Like, yeah, I would rather have Jack Davis at 15 than Blair Murray. I'd happily concede that. Yeah. So, did you say who your second row were? You?
Whoever's fit.
I mean, I think Douglas and anyone of Ball / Lowsy and Douglas.
I have to admit, I did think during the Connacht game, I'm getting slightly sick of Sam Lousy giving away offside penalties for attempted charge downs. I am quite bored of that now at this point.
Like, I know I've already mentioned their age once, but I do feel that extra energy and work rate of a younger man complements the pair of them.
Oh my God, we're talking about Scarlets for Wales. If there was any chance of us signing Daft Jenkins, I would give him a lift to and from training every morning from my house in the Midlands.
Do you know what? From now on, every time you mention that in the podcast or send that message in the group chat, I feel like there's like what's not a swear jar, a Dav Jenkins jar that we can just put one coin in every time.
Oh, okay. He wouldn't be able to buy anything of Vinted then, and where would our content go? Because I'm sure I think we'd be in 5 figures by now. The amount of times he's mentioned it over the last 18 months.
Because every time the jar is filled, he goes on Vinted and he buys a jersey and he sends it directly, to Dav Jenkins to bribe him. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. Like, the reason you do mention it is because it's like we've said before, there were rumors that we were close to signing him, and if we could have had him, Yeah, and the opportunity is surely still there.
I honestly think he is the one player that we could put in without McLeod and our pack still work. Just his end. Imagine how easy life would be for McLeod with him here with us in the same pack. Just the amount of involvement, the amount of rucks he hits. I mean,
He's
the pair of them
ridiculous.
would have a field day, like unbelievable. And but that just goes to show he's a young man. He's got that energy. He's got that work rate to full circle it back around to us. We need a high work rate, high energy second row to go along with Ball and Lousy. Not to say that they're not, but a high work rate for a 34-year-old is much different to a 29 and younger.
Yeah. Can't disagree. I think the only the changes I would make if it was my 15, I would start Harry Thomas over Elias.
Yeah.
I'm struggling to think about what else. Part of me would not like to start the O'Connors because I want a bit more of a balance in the front row of
And they're going to be
experience.
more balanced than brothers. It's ultimate balance.
Okay.
You know what I mean.
So I wouldn't start Sock. I would start Hawk. Because obviously I know I'm still reminiscing about him pre-injury. And he needs, it's the same argument with wanting Hawley in there. I want Hawley on the bench. I'd want those two. No. I want to see him rediscover that form, and we need to know if he can, because if he can't, then we really need to look at overhauling the entire tight head scene. If we've got one who's aging out soon enough, one that's hardly ever fit, and then we got one that's not gonna get back to his same standard. That's our three front lines. And don't get me wrong, as much as I like Hawley, Jack Pritchard, and Yestin Cook has looked really good for the under-20s, I'm not ready to stick all three of them in next season, or even the season after. But yeah, I mean, tight head, I'd want Hawk in there. That's my preference.
I could go with the two Harrys. I could go with the two Harrys and then have Chems as well there.
Yeah.
Like that would feel all right to me. I just don't want to go in with an old, like a relatively green front row. Like even against Zebre, like that's not nice. And then otherwise, I'm Matt, you've talked me around to it. I think first choice centers, given the rest in the European weeks. I want to see Carwyn, Leggett, Jones go up with first choice Wales centers. I think it'd be exciting.
Very exciting.
And Archie. Like that's going to be some great pace going around there.
And just like I know Huw mentioned earlier this season, the way he's now taken that step off the base, the way he's engaging the pillars is it's amazing how much difference that adds to your attack. It stutters the defensive line. It's brilliant, and for someone like like Sammy and like Harwin who like to play flat to the line, who do like to put boys into space. If you're up against, let's be honest, there's more blitz than it is drift at the minute. When you're up against a blitz and a stuttering blitz, that's just perfect territory for a 10 like that.
Yeah, and it was a bit worrying that in the Connacht game we only really seemed to get a bit more change when we were sitting deeper. Of course, that was with Cordo playing 9. And yeah, things did seem seemingly improve quite a lot when Archie came on. So let's start with that. And move on. I don't think we necessarily need Sammy on the bench right now, especially if he's not 100% fit. Do we know on his fitness? We heard anything?
It was confusing, the Wales press release, because it was saying that he sat out Tuesday training, but they wouldn't have kept him in the squad if they didn't think there was a chance of him playing. So
fingers crossed. So without saying Scarlets by 2, Does anyone have a prediction?
I predict that I will be there.
That's not a prediction. That's a statement.
Well, no, something could go wrong.
Well, it depends. It depends on how confident Hugh is. If he's just got a feeling like he's going to wake up and instead of being in his bed, he's going to be in the Pemberton Travel Inn or Premier Inn or whatever it is, then yeah.
The only real question is obviously he's going to be wearing 3 shirts to this game. What order do those shirts go on? I'm thinking he puts the red one on first, then the green one over the top, and starts with the chocolate quarters.
The chocolate quarters will be on display. Of course, it's Ladies' Day, so I need to make sure that I'm eye-catching.
The good thing about those Rhino jerseys that you forget is they're actually tearaway. So you can do the costume changes really quickly and easily if you just like.
Yeah, the players found that really annoying during the games, but it's finally paying dividends.
Fine through. John Newith, prediction.
I think this is probably going to be a comfortable enough one for us. I would say over 10. Like I'm going to say like 14 point win here.
Oh, I was thinking 12. Yeah. And what does Mr. Huw?
Did you say that backwards?
He said Zebre by 2. What?
I'm not allowed to say it, am I? So I can't say it.
Bugger. Okay, one little bit of information before we go off. The annual Crease 16 Meet the Players event is this Wednesday, the 18th of January. It is March, yeah. 7:15, Lolva Lounge, Park Scarlets. All you need to do is sign up to be a Crease 16 member, free of charge, crease16.com, I believe the website is, and register the event. You can go along and you will get to meet, let's make sure I got this right. So Nigel Davis will be there, Josh Morse, Jake Ball, Joe Hawkins, and I believe Fletcher Anderson as well. So
don't call him Fletch.
Don't call him Fletch. And
no, to call him Captain, my Captain.
Captain, my Captain. That's good. That's it.
Captain Fletch.
But shout out to Crease. They held an event with David James a few weeks ago. His book signing in, I want to say, the Tin House intellectually went really well. So it's good value for £0 and 0 pence. Just keep it involved. And other than that, thank you boys very much. We are done. Yeah.
Right. Bye.
Bye. Like, share, subscribe.
Bye.
Do your thing. We need a funny sound to finish off the show. We really do.
Do you want? My dog is snoring right next to us. Do you want to hear that?
Well, we need to be able to replicate it every week.
Well, thankfully, I live with him. Here you go.
Oh, he's on. Can we hear anything? If you're still listening right now, God alive, why? Okay, thank you guys for being with me. Thank you guys for listening, and we'll do all again next week and hopefully celebrate a win.
With Car Guru's Discover, you can skip the filters and describe what you're looking for in your own words. Simply type what you want, and Car Guru's Discover instantly surfaces real listings that match your exact needs. It's no wonder Car Gurus is the #1 most visited car shopping site according to SimilarWeb's estimated traffic data. Buy or sell your next car today with Car Gurus at cargurus.com. Go to cargurus.com to make sure your big deal is the best deal. That's cargurus.com. cargurus.com.
I'm here on a job site with Tim, who owns his own electrical contracting business.
3 employees and 2 work trucks.
Tim traded up to Geico Commercial Auto Insurance. We're positively here where he needs us most.
They sure are.
With step-by-step help on all his insurance needs, all for shockingly low rates.
Shockingly low, huh?
It's just a little bit of electrician humour. Do you get it?
I got it.
It feels like we have a real connection. All right, I'll stop.
Get a commercial auto insurance quote today at geico.com and see how much you could save. It feels good to Geico.